Sit up straight.
I am up, sitting up straight.
All right, this is Bill and Barbara.
My name is Bill Henready. I'm 87 years old. I was born in Sacramento, California, September 29th of 1929. A good year.
It was. Well, I'm a country girl. I was born in a little town called Pine Grove, California, which is in the Mother Lode country. It's about 9 miles from Jackson. Have you ever heard of Jackson?
I think so.
Sutter Creek? Volcano?
Angels Camp.
Well, anyway, and we lived in this little town of Pine Grove until I was about 11, I think. And then we moved to Stockton, and I went to Weber School, which incidentally my father had gone to and graduated from when he was in grammar school. And I really didn't know Bill too well. He was the big track star, but I knew who he was.
In elementary school?
Mm-hmm. But I didn't corral him until I was about 16. I remember him. I was standing at the end of this. We didn't have stairs. We kind of had ramps that we went down in school. And I was standing at the end of the ramp, and he kind of came around and walked around me. And I thought, That's the first memory I have of him. It was in grammar school.
Really, I didn't know, we weren't really, I didn't know of her in grammar school. And I guess she knew because I was in the track. Track was my forte. And so she knew who I was. But I subsequently I took a job as a mailman, boxman, and all kinds of stuff for a department store in Stockton. And
we were still in high school.
Yeah, well, I was in high school, and Barbara worked there. So my first real memories was, as I recall, was meeting her there, because she was doing a lot of work in the stock room as I was, and that's where it kind of began. Then we began to have lunch together, and we began to. I can't recall now. That's a lot of years ago, man. That's a long time ago. When we first started to date.
Can I tell you this?
All right, you go ahead.
Well, we lived in Stockton, which is a farming town, and it was the springtime. And the kids used to do this. They used to go out and steal cherries. So he asked me out to go steal cherries. Mm-hmm. And so I came home and asked my mother and father if I could go out with him. We were going to steal cherries. Well, that cooled that date.
Yeah, that didn't fly too good with their mother and father.
What year would you say you guys graduated high school? What year was that?
48.
That's when World War II ended.
Yes.
So what was it like? Living through part of World War II?
I can't
were too
recall.
young.
All I know is that I was going in. Well, subsequently, I went into the National Guard. Mm-hmm. How I got there, I don't know.
Out of high school?
Yeah. And they shipped me down to, I don't know, someplace down in
Fort Ord.
Fort Ord, yeah, down in the other side of Monterey. And I spent a couple of weeks down there. And finally went from private to corporal. Big deal. Got a stripe. One stripe on the shoulder.
That was the longest we've ever been apart in our life. When
3
he
years?
went away for 2 weeks to National Guard or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Honey, I don't think you ever
I-
proposed to me.
I didn't propose.
No, I think we just
No,
thought we were
I don't
gonna get
think so. I
married.
think it was just an understanding that we had that we were going to ultimately get married. We were well. You can explain
It
it.
was a very small wedding, and he played pool with a friend in the morning before we got married.
I did
Yeah, you did.
And that was your bachelor party?
probably.
And we were married at 3 in the afternoon. Then we had a small reception at my mother's house. We had my mother and father, my sisters, and his family, and maybe a couple of relatives. I can't remember. It was small.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a small reception. We had champagne and a wedding cake. And then we got to go on our honeymoon.
Right.
What was it like after you guys got married? What was after the honeymoon, after you got home, after everything kind of settled down?
Well,
You guys living
then-
together, or-
Well, then reality sets in. Then you begin to ask yourself questions like, "What have we done? You know, what have I done? Has this been a good move?"
Did you
know.
really?
No, I'm being facetious. So we had to. Well, we already had an apartment.
So you guys were living together before you got married?
No.
We didn't.
You
We
didn't do that
leave-
then?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, at that time that was a no-no. You know.
So how long after you guys were married did you decide to have children? Or did you decide at all?
No.
That's a good question.
Yeah, that is a good question.
I told you that was my mother-in-law's biggest fear, or my father-in-law's, was what if she'd get pregnant? And like I said, I did.
Yeah, it was not planned. It just happened. I don't think we made a decision, a conscious decision, did we?
No.
To have. I don't think so.
What was
All of a sudden, she's pregnant.
I don't know how.
what was
She delivered the baby in the hospital, and
No, but I tell you, he was in a skiing accident when we lived in that apartment, and I was pregnant.
that's true.
So,
Forgot about that.
yeah, and we had to move out of our apartment because the rent was due, and we didn't have any money.
No money.
So we stayed with my mother and father for until after Deb was born in May. We went to the hospital, and she was born at 6 in the morning. He slept through the whole thing.
did you?
Hey, that's what a milkman does.
So Deborah was born and you were asleep.
No, he was awake when
No,
she was
I was
born.
awake. Yeah. The dynamic changed because I'm still trying to figure out how does a father work into this scene here. You know, and I must admit I was not that helpful to Barbara at that stage. And just why I don't know. But I wasn't. So anyway, then Greg came along. Go ahead, Barbara. Then you can. pick
Was
it
that
up.
now? Was Greg? You guys were like, we're gonna have another one, or is this?
No, I don't think. I don't remember we planned
yes,
that either.
I wanted Greg to be only 2 years older than
Did
his
we
sister,
plan that
but
one?
he was about
Okay.
2.5 years.
He was ready to come out.
It's a wonder I made it to the
yeah,
hospital.
yeah, and I couldn't.
They couldn't
called,
find him.
You know, but when I finally got the message, he was already born.
it got easier raising children as the children got older? Like, do you think it's particularly more difficult at a certain stage in the child's life when?
Well, being a teenager, how difficult it is.
Yeah.
But we didn't have any problems with it. They were,
Well, we had problems with Greg.
well, yeah, because he had depression for
Yes.
years and
And
years.
that was very, very difficult. Very, really, really. Depression is a very insidious kind of thing. He was 13 when he really kind of fell into this black idea of life. So from 13 to 40 is a long time.
But he went to,
So you're talking about 25, 26, 27 years. And all that period of time, we spent thousands of dollars on doctors and hospitals and programs for him to be in, that were guided by healthcare people, and nothing ever touched chronic depression because it was prevailing in every aspect of our lives. Because you want your child to do well. You want them to be healthy. You want them to be able to do whatever it is that they really want to do. And that's something that's a driving force, I think, in every mom and dad.
and he was a great
Your
guy.
mom and dad want you to be successful, whatever that is, whatever you choose. Your mom and dad the same way, Caitlin. I mean, it's normal. It's just there. And if you see a defect in your child, it's very alarming, very, very debilitating. It's very, very difficult. Chronic depression is
Insidious.
it's something you never ever want to wish on anybody. No
And
human
we
certainly.
spent, he said, he said, Mother, you should have gotten help from me earlier, but we did. It didn't interfere with our relationship, but that was the toughest time in our life.
Yeah, I would have to concur. That was tough. Um, we would work with him. I mean, and so one night we're in the sunroom in here. Let's see. Now Greg's been gone 20 years,
20 some years, I can't like.
and and he said, and we're talking about finding an answer and a solution to this chronic depression, which was the topic of the day every time we sat down and talked, because it was something that was so encompassing for his whole personality and being. And he said, Dad, he said, next month, or I'm coming 40. I think he was 39 at the time. He said, I'm coming 40. And we've been working years and years and years on trying to cure or improve the depression. And it hasn't worked, which I certainly couldn't disagree with. And he said, I frankly don't see any reason once I turned 40 to continue on. And that really just stopped my clock. I mean, I did not have an answer. It just, you know, I didn't know that he would actually commit suicide, which he did. At 40, he was true to himself in that respect. And so anyway, I've come to respect that. You know, if something is that important to an individual, they should be not criticized or anything else. But it's the first time I was ever stopped in my tracks. I mean, I just did not have an answer, and I knew he was right. So that's the tragedy of Barbara and I mean, in our life. And but at the same time, we know we did everything. We spent several $100,000 during that 20-some-odd year period trying to find a solution. So we know that we were there for him all that time and doing everything possible that we knew to do. So that helps a little. I mean, we know we weren't negligent. But it's still a tragedy. It's just because he was very bright, loved music. He was very intelligent. He was
Had a wonderful, wicked sense of humor.
yeah. The world, it could have been his oyster, you know, and I know it's hard to understand. People will understand, but anyway, I'm just saying that if there's any one element in our marriage in the 67 years that was really unbelievably difficult, that was it.
How do you think that going through that with each other affected your relationship?
Well, as my partner, I don't think there's anyone that could better understand what I felt than Barbara. No one. I don't think anyone else could really understand. Yep.
Are you guys still in love?
Absolutely.
Yes.
You betcha.
I have a pillow that says, "Always kiss me goodnight."
Yeah. I would say our relationship and our love is stronger now than it was when we got married. And that's euphoric.